Good morning, friends. So today, I don't have my tea this morning just because this morning I actually went out for breakfast and already had a couple cups of coffee. So I'm pretty much set for today in terms of my caffeine level. Today was a beautiful day, a little bit chilly, but it's still very nice. I got this new sweater actually from Old Navy the other day, which I'm pretty happy about. It's very comfortable. Very nice aesthetic wise. So I'm very pleased about it. So as you know, it's Friday, and I've made it my new thing to do a book review every Friday. So today, since today I actually opened up my first trading account, which I'm pretty excited about, to start delving into that world of finance and securities. I have this book here called The New Market Wizards. This is actually a sequel to the first one, which was just Market Wizards, written by the same person. When I first bought this, I thought this was just that book, but an updated version, but this is a completely new version with different traders. I haven't read Market Wizards. I would like to read it at some point, although it is a little bit expensive. It's around like $30, which, I mean, isn't too bad, but it's just enough to the point where it's a little bit too expensive for me right now. Just for me to actually like get into the process of, oh, let me just buy this right now. And since I already kind of have one already to get an insight, what this book basically is, he basically interviews several traders of all different kinds, either fundamentalists, technical analysts, people who literally just go off their feel, their gut reaction. There's a whole array of different styles. You know, Even if you're not interested in trading, I would definitely pick this up just in terms of understanding the mindset that goes into trading and who these people exactly are. You can meet very, very different kinds of people. And they're all very interesting, all very intelligent people for their own different ways. I think one of the best things about this book is that it shows you that there's no like one real way to trade. It's really based upon your own pathway to success. It's your own pathway to trading. It's all melded based off of your own style. If you try to mold yourself into a different style of trading that isn't relative towards you and your personality, you're going to end up failing because you need something that works with you, works with what your strengths are. Some people are really good mathematicians, and for them, they might stumble into more technical analysis, more crunching the numbers, focusing only on the charts and the graphs and focusing only on specific numbers and entry points, etc., etc. It's a lot of complicated stuff that probably wouldn't fit someone like me, since it doesn't really interest me, especially mathematics. And there's a more fundamental side. People like Warren Buffett, although he's not interviewed in this book, people definitely follow his mindset, or people like George Soros, right? They definitely focus purely on fundamentals, looking at their earnings, looking at the companies inside and out, looking at their earnings reports. This is more long-term investing. There's all kinds of different styles, especially nowadays with the internet, which this doesn't really go into. You can even just see by the cover, this is definitely like from the mid 90s. Nowadays it's very, very quick, very fast paced. They have machines that basically do everything now, especially at the big trading firms that are, super high volume, super fast. It's like, it's almost crazy how much it's changed. So now there's a lot of this new development of day trading and swing trading, which follow different techniques, different strategies. Most of them are very heavily influenced on technical analysis. They don't really follow fundamentals, just because fundamentals really only work for long term, and the day by day it's all technical, just because it's not even based off of anything fundamental, unless you're looking at a big news story about a company merger or something like that. That's the only reason why something would change in a day setting. But even by that point, by the time you already hear about it, it's already too late to get in on it. So you really want to just focus on technical analysis if you're going into day trading. But this book definitely opens you up to who these people are. We see a lot of different movies, things like Wall Street, Wolf of Wall Street, And there's some aspects of them that are realistic in terms of what the lifestyle is like for those people, but I think there's a missing segment in terms of trading, which is the actual hard work and the degree of mental stability that they have to force themselves to do. These people are like monks in a way. They have to have this super calm ability in order to trade. Otherwise, they would lose their minds, and that's what happens to a lot of people. That's why they get out of this industry, is because they just can't handle the stress that it gives them, because stocks go up and down and people freak out and lose lots of money that way. It also shows that some of these people aren't really doing anything that complicated. A lot of them are just, they go off their gut instinct, right? Some of these people, it creates like a very mystical observation of some of these traders, which I find pretty fascinating. Some of them are pretty noble people as well. Some of them, obviously there's always the greedy kind of, typical whatever capitalist who just wants to make money. But there's quite a significant amount of people out there that are, they take their money and they do good for whatever they want. There was this guy who really spent a lot of time and energy. I think his name's Mark Ritchie, and he wrote a book called God in the Pits. He was a very, religious man, and he used a lot of his money in charity work to help with impoverished tribe villages in the Amazon jungle, I believe it was. And you can do all kinds of things if you really set your mind to it and really acquire that kind of wealth and power. You can do a lot of good things in the world, and I think this book definitely opens you up, and it gives you a more human approach to understanding traders in general. I think Hollywood demonizes a lot of trading and demonizes Wall Street to the most they can, and I think they have some rights to do that for some of the things that have happened in Wall Street, but I think it's a very biased way to look at it. There's lots of different people working in that industry, and a lot of different mindsets, and a lot of different people who have different views and beliefs for themselves. They have different standards of ethics, and I think that's a very important thing to understand, especially if you want to call yourself a humane person. Just sort of disregarding trading as this evil white-collar crime is a very naive thing to do, in my opinion. So if you don't know anything about who traders are, or if you're interested in trading at all, I would definitely get this book. It shows you definitely a different insight into who these people are, and it can help you. There's no real strategies that they give you. They give you, basically, it's good to read it as a way to understand what their mindset is like, what they're going into in their mindset. And there's no greed involved in any of them, even though some of them might be questionable on your morality scale or whatever. There is absolutely no greed in these people, especially the people who are successful. The greedy ones always end up getting their ass kicked, and that happened in Wolf of Wall Street with Jordan Belfort. He could have easily gotten out of that industry when he was on top, but he got greedy in the end, and it ended up fucking him over, and he lost everything that he worked for, right? There was that time when he was supposed to retire, and then he said, I'm not going, I'm staying, right? And that was his big mistake in the movie. So yeah, that's one of the big things they mentioned, and that's one of the main things anybody in trading would understand, is that fear and greed are the biggest destroyers of any kind of money you might be able to make. Greed, on one hand, will make you, want more and more and more. You basically have absolutely no fulfillment, and you end up riding the wave until it crashes, and then, you lose your opportunity to cash out when you say, all right, this is enough. I don't need any more. I'm satisfied. And then there's the fear-based side, where you're on a stock and it's about to rise, and you say, I want to get out as soon as I can because I'm afraid it's going to crash. And it ends up going like all the way up, and you got out too early. And then the same thing if the stock's crashing and you're afraid of losing all your money because you're afraid it's not going to go back up. It's just going to keep crashing and crashing, and you pull out again in that way, and that's another way you lose a lot of money. These are the two pitfalls of failure in this industry, which I think the layman people don't really understand. And it's probably one of the first things you might learn becoming a trader, which I think is important for normal people to get a grasp on. So anyway, that's all I have to say really about this book. Definitely recommend it. Probably the original one might be a little bit better depending on what you're interested in, but this one's just as good, just as interesting. People are interesting, so I can't really say about the original one, but get both. Fuck it, why not? Alright, so anyway, have a wonderful day.